Hello, Legit Gaming Union. My name is Shadylikeatree, and I have a game of Team Deathmatch on Seatown for you. And I thought, what better way to introduce myself to you guys is to tell you the story of how I came into existence. So I hope you enjoy. The story as I've been told it, because I've had to do extensive research because I am estranged with my biological father, Chuck Norris, and I have not spoken to him since I found out I was his child. I've had to piece it all together, so I have some holes in the story, and I'm trying to find people from my past, from when I was a baby, when I was a small child, to kind of help me understand this whole process, if it makes any sense. But anyway, so here's what I know. So I was conceived on a cool, dewy morning. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Chuck was passing through California on some mission that he was doing for the CIA and the FBI and the Homeland Security, who didn't even exist then. He had like traveled back in time and all this, and he was in California, and he was traveling through the redwood forest, the giant redwood forest, you know, big, huge, tall trees. I'll put a picture on the screen if I find one. And he happened to one that struck him. And I don't mean like physically like hit him, but it just struck him as awesome and awful and powerful. And he touched the tree, and the tree asked him to fuck him. So he did, and that is how I was conceived. I don't know the exact details, but I've been told that there was a 9.8 earthquake on that day in California. I don't believe it, but I've been told there was quite a large earthquake on that day. It was during the playoffs in I think 1989 or something like that, or 1988. I'm not really sure. It was during the baseball playoffs. But anyway, I was born 3 weeks later to the tree, and I was kind of a human baby. I resemble my father quite a bit. Well, I did when I was little. I kind of don't now very much. And so I felt I was very hard for a grown redwood tree to raise me properly. So my mother tree, who I have since made contact with and speak with on a regular basis via our network of pollen and air spores, that she gave me up because she thought that it would be good, and it would be a better way to do it than for me to live in the forest and try to stand still when it obviously would not have been good for me. And she wanted me to go and get a good education and become a great dude, great man, and share the world and the love I have of trees. So she put me up for adoption, and before I could be adopted, I stayed with a Navajo medicine woman and a large gray wolf, and they actually raised me for several years because I was considered very wild as a small child. I was very much like Donnie from the Thornberrys, as at least this is how it's been explained to me, and that's the best way I can relate it to you guys. I have really no recollection of my very early childhood. Again, in my early teens and late teens, I was dropped on my head a lot, so I don't really have a very good recollection of my childhood. So I was with the Navajo medicine woman and the large gray wolf for I think until I was almost 5. I haven't been able to quite clarify when exactly I was placed in my permanent home here with my parents, and they deny all of this. They say that none of it is true, that I am theirs, but I have evidence that says otherwise. So, the gray wolf, he taught me a lot of things. He taught me how to hunt. He taught me how to be ferocious. He taught me how to be brave. And mostly he taught me how to be a man, and how to stand up for myself when I needed to, and how to stand up for others, and knowing what was right. And that was a missed triple right there. But anyway, At the age of 5, I began growing facial hair, which was very traumatic for the Indian medicine woman because she thought that something might be wrong with me. So she sent me to live with my, I guess, adoptive parents, my parents I've had on my YouTube channel before, my dad and my mom, as I call them. And they've raised me ever since then. And I've had a pretty good life, but you know, it's always interesting because I'm planning on making a trip out to California to go visit my mom tree out there and see, you know, and see her and you know, get to finally meet her because, you know, it's good to know where you come from, and I need to get a medical history from her because I have this really weird skin peeling problem, and I can't quite understand it, and I have very red skin, which I think comes from my dad and his being slightly ginger self. So I'm not really sure how that all works out, but it explains a lot actually when you actually think about it. Like, you know, my mom being a tree, my dad being Chuck Norris, it explains my bravery, my cockiness, my strength, my superhuman strength, and superhuman healing abilities, and not the ability to basically not get sick ever, except for like today and yesterday and like the day before. And watch this guy get absolutely pooped on by me. Not. So yeah, I just thought I would share this story with you, and I'm trying to find out more information about like what happened in my past and what happened when I was a small kid. But there's not a whole lot of records because the internet didn't exist yet. I hadn't quite had the chance to invent it yet, which I didn't actually end up inventing it, but my dad Chuck did. My daddy Chuck had a hand in it. Word on the street is that he traveled back in time to 1946 when it was in the initial starts of it were invented, and he played a significant role in kind of forcing it about because he said that we needed, you know, a better way to communicate and store information so things would move quicker and more effectively and more efficient. So yeah, that's the story of me. I'm the son of Chuck Norris in a large red oak wood. I was raised by a Navajo medicine woman and a large gray wolf for the first 5 or so years of my life. I have 5 brothers, all of which are estranged from my dad, but all have their own mystical superhuman beings, and maybe I'll have them on the channel at some point. I've made contact with all 5 of them, and I'm the second youngest of them. And we all have fantastic chemistry together, and at some point we're gonna get together, and I'm gonna have them on the channel, and we're gonna talk about Lord knows what. Really, I mean, it's just flabbergasting and out there as to what my brothers are capable of. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story of where I came from, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.